Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to go over a weekly outlook for the upcoming week and go over a case study of a trade that I took from the previous week. As always, just before we get into it, make sure to subscribe, give this video a like, and follow me on Instagram to keep up to date with what I do on a day-to-day basis. So without further ado, let's begin. So starting on the daily time frame, as we usually do, we can see we are still in this downtrend and most recent price action has been to the upside. So what I like to do this time round is I want to start marking out structure so it's a lot more easier for you to see what's going on. So let's start off with the daily. So let's mark out the latest swing or impulse to the downside, and we'll mark it out by these 2 points here. So we know that price is within this daily range. Dropping out to the 4-hour time frame, we will mark out some more structure. The most important structure on the 4-hour time frame, as we can see, is this move to the upside. So let's mark that out with a different color. Let's go with purple. So we have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, and now recently last week we got a higher high. So we can see that within this daily bearish price leg, we also have some bullish price legs as well. What we can do is we can actually drop down further to the 1-hour time frame to give us a more detailed outlook of the market on a 1-hour time frame. So if you are an intraday trader, this is the time frame that you'll be looking at. So we'll start off from this leg, as this is what we want to have a look at. So we're starting off from over here. Let's get a color ready. Let's go with red. So we'll start off here. We have a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high. Now, as we can see, this low came out and took out these two, relative equals. So what we do in this case is we're going to move this low and say it is now this one, okay, which means we can remove this high, and now our structure is like this. So we have low, high, higher low, and then we get a clear higher high over here, a higher low, and now what we can see is we get a higher high, a significant higher high up here, and we can now see that this red level of structure started off with the purple and has now reached this purple one over here, so which means to us it is finished. So at the moment, from this price range, what we can see is, and moving into next week, is we can see that we have come down into a discounted area and we have rejected quite strongly off of it. Now, what we'll be looking for going into next week is we are expecting price to continue this price leg to the upside. The 4-hour, as we can see, is bullish, and the 1-hour is also bullish. It also is good to look at, have we had a 50% retracement on the daily time frame? So we're going to come here and we're going to have a look. And as we can see, we have not yet reached that 50% level. We have come very close, but we haven't reached it yet. So until this daily price range has been completed in terms of reaching a discount, we won't be looking for shorts with the overall higher time frame daily trend just yet. But what we would rather do is follow the 1-hour trend. So going back to the 1-hour time frame where we had our 1-hour price leg that has not yet been completed. It will be completed once price either breaks out to the downside or to the upside. Therefore, our bias going into next week on the 1-hour time frame should be to look for possible buys moving up. Now, obviously, we have POIs in here, and I can mark these out quite clearly. So we have this one over here, and we have a clear one over here. So this one being a possible supply zone, and this one being a possible demand zone, or more is a demand zone because we're in a bullish price leg. So what we want to be doing is we want to be looking at what price does in these areas. If price does not want to respect this price range, then it is likely to come up into here or into here as well. We can mark out, this supply zone here, and we can see we also have one at an extreme as well. But more often than not, if price is going to come up into this area in a bullish price leg, it's going to complete this range. So again, what I'll be looking for from these points of interest are reactions and possible confirmations of a trade either going to the downside from here or upside from here. So now that we have completed the weekly outlook, this allows us to move on to a case study of a trade I took last week. So this trade presented itself on the 18th of March. So coming to the charts when the Asian session had closed, we can see that price was moving to the downside and it was following this sort of bearish structure. So let me just mark that out. We have this low, we have this high, this low, this high, and then this lower low. Now what we are waiting for is price to pull up into here and then give us a break of structure and possibly take continuation trades. So what we want to do is we want to continue this level of structure to the downside and possibly target this 50% level, right? Because at the minimum, price can come to the 50% level, retrace, and then continue back to the upside. Dropping down to the lower time frames on the 5-minute is we want this low here to be broken to confirm that we're moving to the downside. Another reason why we were looking for shorts was because on the 30-minute time frame and on the hourly, we can see we have imbalances over here. So having imbalances below an Asian range where we have liquidity anyway tells us that price is likely to come to the downside. We also have a demand zone sitting right here. This tells me that price is likely to come to the downside, fill this imbalance, tap into this demand zone, and possibly give us a reversal confirmation to take a trade to the upside as well. So there was two ideas that I had in terms of taking a trade. Dropping back down to the 5 minute, let's see what happens. So we can see price comes down quite aggressively and breaks this structural point over here. What I was looking for was price to pull down and then give us a move back up, and then we can short it from an order block formed that broke this structural point. As we can see, price starts to move back up, and on the 3 minute time frame there was an opportunity to enter a short at this point here. Now I didn't take this opportunity, but I just want to show you that this was the order block that led to a breaker structure, as these, or this demand zone over here, or possible order blocks here, look quite efficient. So we wouldn't be looking for a trade from here. Now, as we can see, price comes in, taps it very nicely, and then continues off to the downside. And now we get another breaker structure. So given that my trade idea was playing out, and I knew that price still had to come and fill this imbalance to the left, I was looking for a continuation of this move to the downside. So what I did was I dropped down to the 1 minute time frame. So on the 1 minute time frame, what we can see is this structural point has broken, and we are looking for an entry from an order block that caused the structural break. So I was looking at this one over here, looking at this and watching price here. We get the break at this point, not this point, but this is the order block that looks like it caused the breaker structure, as this is quite messy price action at this point here. So I set an entry at this point, stops just above here. I've not actually had stops above here, so till 3.6 and rounded up to 4, and then I had my take profit level set at this point here for price to come into that demand zone. And as you can see, the risk to reward was a 5.88, so it's not bad. And let's see how price reacted. As we can see, we get a nice impulsive move to the downside. This made me very confident in the trade. Trade management wise, as this point here was broken, my stops were at break even, and as you can see, price continued to the downside, eventually tapping me out at this point. So that was it for the trade that I took in terms of this case study. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video.